Hello, hello! Welcome back to N25 event summaries. It hasn't been too long since the last Night Court event. I hope you haven't missed them too much. I know I have, but where there's Night Court, there's angst. And there's plenty of angst to go around this time as well. Today's event is the Stopped Hand Moves Once More, otherwise known as Mafuyu's 6th Focus. The event ran on the JP server from April 30th through May 6th, 2025. If you're watching this video when it comes out, the event is currently ongoing on every other server. I've been excited for this event, but also terrified. I'm mostly excited because of the song, as per usual, Nihil-san. It could still be recency bias, but after sitting with this song for a year now, I do think it's my favorite Mafuyu commission. It's just so cathartic. Anyway, I'm sure you can hear the background music for Nihil-san playing in the background right now, and are wondering what sort of event story could possibly warrant a song like this. Allow me to show you. It's the day before Mafuyu goes to talk with her mother. Everyone's feeling nervous about it in the Sekai, even Meiko and Kaito. KANAI will be there at the conversation alongside Mafuyu, but since Enna and Musique can't, Musique gives Mafuyu a little friendship bracelet to wear. That way, it's like she and Enna are there with her too. Something clatters to the ground and everyone looks at Mafuyu's feet, where a shiny silver key lies. Maybe it's the key to that door in the middle of the lake? This is Mafuyu's Sekai, after all. Musique and the Vocaloids theorize about what might be on the other side of that door. Does it lead to a new world? A parallel universe? But if Mafuyu were to open that door, and her mother stood on the other side, would she be able to bear it? For now, Mafuyu decides to leave the door locked. She has bigger things to worry about at the moment. The Asahina parents worry about what tomorrow will bring, but as long as they listen to Mafuyu and what she's feeling, everything will be okay, right? This is the first time Mafuyu and her mother have seen each other since Engeki. Things are awkward, to say the least. Mafuyu isn't putting on her cheery facade, and Mafumon thinks that her daughter might be unwell, but this is how Mafuyu really acts. As you might expect, Mafumon is more than a little surprised by this. She launches right into her apology. It's clear that she's been thinking about what to say to Mafuyu for a really long time, and it really does seem genuine. Mafuyu recognizes that her mother's actions come from a place of care and kindness. She is still her mother, after all, and Mafuyu's feelings about that haven't changed even after all this time. Even so, every time Mafumon pushed her own ideals onto her daughter, little by little, Mafuyu started to feel trapped in her own life. It's not that she's trying to make her mother feel bad or guilt her into anything. Mafuyu just wants her mother to understand her feelings. That's all. And at least for now, it seems like she does. Mafumon says that all she wants is for her daughter to be happy, and for her to pursue what she wants in life. Even if she doesn't know what sort of future she wants for herself, that's okay. Mafuyu stares at her mother in disbelief before she's brought into a hug. Her mother's hand is warm. KANAI comments that she doesn't feel that cold energy radiating from Mafumon anymore. Are we witnessing actual character development from Mafumon? I don't believe my eyes. Mafuyu and her mother talk about what's been going on in their lives while they've been apart, and Mafuyu smiles more than a few times. Once they're all caught up, Mafudad brings up Mafuyu's return home. They're more than willing to wait for Mafuyu to decide, but if she wants to try and go back home, they're more than willing to make the effort for her. Mafuyu thinks for a second and decides that she'll try to go back to the Asahina household. Several days later, Mafuyu has packed all of her things and is set to return back to her own home. KANAI looks at the empty room, her room, and says that it'll be a little lonely from here on out. It's not that KANAI isn't happy that Mafuyu is returning home, but still, she got so used to living with her lyricist that things will feel a little bit more empty now. Mafuyu promises to visit often. She also vaguely threatens to sick Honami on her if KANAI doesn't take care of herself like she promised. Miku and Len come to see Mafuyu off, and they tell her that they believe in her and all of that. I know, they're really dragging this out, but it's a huge step for Mafuyu to be taking right now. Mafudad comes to pick Mafuyu up, but she hesitates before getting into the car. She's decided to believe in her mother. So here we go. Dinner is already on the table when Mafuyu walks in. Mafumam is definitely eager to have her daughter home and is talking a mile a minute, offering things to her daughter, pulling back when she's worried she's pushing too much. All the while, Mafuyu just sits there and only speaks when necessary. But on the whole, even though Mafuyu still can't taste anything, it's still a pleasant dinner. The days pass in a sense of normalcy. Mafuyu begins to show her mother the things she's doing in her life, whether that's school, her music, or otherwise. Seeing Mafumam talk about night court with her daughter is so weird. I never thought we'd get to this point. One day, Mafuyu heads out for club activities, and Mafumam comments that she's still doing that. Mafuyu freezes at the tone her mother has, and Mafumam quickly backtracks. Of course it's okay that she's still participating in clubs. Of course it is. The familiar doubt of her mother's words eats away at Mafuyu all throughout her club meetings. What are her mother's true feelings? Is it really okay for her to continue like this, or is Mafumam putting on a mask of kindness like Mafuyu herself used to do? Mafuyu tries to shake it off by offering to help her mother make dinner that night. It seems like lately, Mafumam has just been showering her daughter with constant compliments, and tonight is no different. Though she does bring up the topic of universities as well. Mafudad quickly judges Mafuyu's reaction and suggests that they save this conversation for another night. Mafuyu can't really focus on her schoolwork after dinner, so she goes to get a drink to take a break. Her mother is beating herself up in an adjacent room. Every time she says something that hints at how she acted before, Mafumam completely spirals and laments to herself in a quiet part of the house. This time, Mafudad is also there. Mafuyu overhears everything. She also runs into her mother in the hallway at around 2 in the morning. It seems like Mafumam was listening to her night court call too. The next day, Mafuyu returns home with the results of a math test. Mafumam comments that she got a lower score on this test compared to the previous one, and again quickly catches herself and backpedals hard. More and more days pass, with each new day feeling more and more similar to how Mafuyu's life was before. It's just little leaks of Mafumam's old personality, but it's still there, and it's enough to set Mafuyu on edge. Her mother is trying so hard to change for her sake. She wants to believe in her mom, but being at home is starting to hurt again. Mafuyu looks at the bracelet Musique gave her and walks inside the house. Her mother is on the phone when she opens the door, and she's acting very suspicious. Well, the truth is, Mafumam has decided to try going to talk therapy. She wants to be better for Mafuyu, whatever it takes. Mafuyu watches her mom cry and thinks to herself about how much her mother has suffered because of her. The next morning, Mafuyu catches her mom looking through university brochures. Even though the topic of college is overwhelming to Mafuyu, she agrees to look through the materials after school. Mafumam gets a little overexcited and starts rambling again, but Mafuyu cuts her off, smiling, and thanks her for what she's been doing to help. Her mother has been holding back for her sake. That's why Mafuyu needs to support her mother emotionally as well. Girl, no you don't! You do not have to be your mother's therapist. It is not your job. Okay, I just had to get that one out. Everyone's falling back into their old habits. Mafuyu enters the sekai and finds Len. She says that she just wants to be here for a little. Len does his best to comfort her as Mafuyu sits in tense silence. That night on night court, Mafuyu is a bit late to their meeting. Everyone can tell that Mafuyu isn't doing very well just by the sound of her voice, and before they can get any information out of her, Mafumam walks into her room. The call is still active as Mafumam rambles about universities again, on and on and on, while Mafuyu sits there with a plastic smile and small nods of agreement. The uneasiness settles over KANAI as she wonders what's happening. Mizuki speaks up to let Mafumam know that they're listening in, and Mafumam excuses herself. So, what's all this about the school Mafuyu wants to go to? As far as Night Court knows, nothing has been decided, and college is a touchy subject for Mafuyu. Based on her reaction, this much is still true. It's like a pit has opened up inside KANAI's stomach. Why are things back to the way they were before? KANAI takes matters into her own hands. She goes over to the Asahina household for dinner after reaching out to Mafuyu's parents. The usual pleasantries are exchanged, and Mafuyu's parents talk about how much brighter their home is now that Mafuyu is back. Mafumam also talks about supporting Mafuyu in her future endeavors, and Kanade notices Mafuyu's fidgeting when that particular topic is brought up. So, about that. Kanade admits to overhearing their conversation from the other night. This is the first Mafudad is hearing about this, so he seems a little hesitant as well. Didn't Mafuyu say that she's still thinking about what she wants to do in life? How could it be that she's already chosen a school? Mafumam is so in her own head that she doesn't hear her husband's skepticism and just goes on and on about how nice of a school it is, what she's done to help, and everything else. Kanade asks Mafuyu if what her mother says is true. She looks at her hands and agrees. Neither Kanade nor Mafudad are buying that for a second. Mafudad says that she can be honest, since it doesn't feel like this decision is actually being made in a sound state of mind. It's okay, they're family. She can always prioritize her own feelings. Mafumam looks at the scene in confusion, spluttering that Mafuyu agreed to go to this university's information session with her, and that she agreed, but Mafudad just encourages his daughter to say what's on her mind. True to Mafuyu's character, she doesn't know. She shuts down and can't bring herself to answer her mother's probing questions anymore. Mafumam launches into another bout of blaming herself, just muttering that she can't do anything right and only ever hurts Mafuyu. Tearily, Mafuyu tells her mother that it's not her fault, and that she should have said something earlier, and well, you get the idea. Both of them think they're causing the other a lot of pain and grief. The light drains from Mafuyu's eyes as her mother excuses herself to the bathroom, continuing to blame herself for everything. Her father and Kanade try to tell her that it's okay, but...
違う。私がお母さんをまた苦しめて、私のせいでお母さんは真冬。どうしよう。私の声も朝比奈さんの声も聞こえてないみたい。でもどうしたら。
Mafudad asks Kanade to give them some space for now, and she heads home, distressed. At home, Kanade wonders how things ended up this way. It was all going so well, but now they're back to square one. The phone rings suddenly, and on the other line is the Asahina household. So, in the end, Mafuyu returns to Kanade's house. Until things calm down, this is the best place for Mafuyu to be. Mafudad doesn't really think she and her mother should be around each other at the current moment. Mafuyu cries into Kanade's shoulder, wondering why she always makes her mother suffer. On that note, our story ends for today. I told you there would be angst, right? Night Court isn't Night Court without its depressing stories. But hey, at least we have Nihil-san? Having read the full event story now, I am a little bit shocked by how different the two emotions represented by the story and the song are. Mafuyu felt a lot more angry pre-Engeki as opposed to now, but hey, I'll never complain about absolute bangers. I remember looking at these cards when they released and just feeling so sad about poor Kanade being left all alone. I suppose the silver lining to this event is that Kanamafu is back together again? I'm trying to keep things positive, but when they end on such a downer like this... what can you do? The next event doesn't have an official translated title, but I can tell you that it's the second Night Court World Link. Embraced by ephemeral bubbles is on the horizon. I'll see you then.